so with, consistent with what we have for the Vision Summit is Make in India vision to reality. I thought I'll probably make a few comments all around the electronics manufacturing in India. So if you, the current status of this industry, certainly I'm sure lots of people have been talking about this in the last day or so. Our domestic manufacture is catering for no more than about 1/3 of our needs at this point of time. And certainly the gap is increasing significantly as we move forward. I'm sure there are more statistics to come by. How large is this gap going to be by 2020 and so on and so forth. And if you look at very precisely what are the 5 most challenging factors which are causing this amount of strife in this manufacturing industry, are a little more in detail here. The first and the foremost is the unattractiveness of the electronic sector per se. I think the first and the foremost thing that the government of India did, which has been very detrimental to this industry, is signing the ITA agreement in 1996-1997. They brought in this zero duty structure for information technology through the information technology agreement, and as a result of which, I think we have had this sector becoming very unattractive compared to the global majors. We certainly have still a number of challenges in terms of the infrastructure. You have transportation, which is very, very difficult to handle. You have customs, excise. Every department takes its own time. It isn't that bad as what it used to be in my good old days, 30 years back, when I used to do more amount of hardware business, where people used to say a consignment would take anywhere between 6 weeks to 8 weeks to clear customs itself. If that's the pace at which we are going to do, you could well imagine what are the challenges that we have. It's not just go-to-market which is slowing down, but more importantly, you also have to realize that the cost of doing business itself is increasing. The second one is the issue of ease of doing business continues to be low. We are somewhere in the boondocks, 176th nation in a list of 250 nations or so. Certainly very concerning. I serve on the board of yet another manufacturing company, not necessarily an electronic manufacturing company, $4 billion strong. And they were telling me at a board meeting last week that every day they do 40 filings to a government department. I repeat, they do 40 filings every day to a government department, and in a year, the number that they were putting together was 1,400 of them. So that is where we have challenge in terms of ease of doing business. And then as a result of the duty structures that we've had, not having enough of demand, we certainly have also the component manufacturing in this country has completely disappeared. I'm sure some of you are familiar in the late 1980s and early 90s. The powers that were there at that point of time decided to have everything had to be assembled in India, or it was screwdriver assembly as it was more popularly known as, completely knocked down sets that were being brought into India, and completely knocked down sets costed more amount of money than assembled product. But that is some of the policies that we have done, and as a result we have also seen the complete component industry has disappeared from this country. And the fourth one is that the innovation ecosystem has also slowed down considerably. Number of PhDs that are being produced in this country are abysmal. I think if you look at the DNA of this nation itself in terms of moving towards innovation, our ability to go and question the business as usual has come down so dramatically that innovation has taken the back seat. So certainly we have seen that there are very few innovation initiatives that go on, and the ecosystem in terms of professionally managed venture capital funds, etc., of the recent past has certainly come back, but they are one of the reasons why we see that the innovation is what it is at this point of time. And finally, other key reason that I believe that we have a challenge today is also the talent availability. The talent availability, one could talk about quantity, but the quality seems to be a very serious challenge. Yesterday, I was in a meeting in Government of India with the Skills Development Minister, and still confusion about what is education and what is skills. Who runs skills in this country and who runs education? I believe we are trying to now get 9th class students also into lathe machines. We had one stream which said we had ITIs, we had polytechnics. The diploma holders have disappeared. The licentiates have disappeared. What have appeared now? These so-called engineers. 750,000 of them in just a single state like Andhra Pradesh, I'm told. But are they the engineers that we require? As a result of which, that we have tremendous amount of shortage in terms of skilled technicians in this nation. So while these are the 5 challenges, I don't think the story is so bleak. There are few still signs that it can be brought back. And I couldn't pick up a story which was better than what we ourselves have done in the recent past. And here is a case study that I have. It's called development of a line replaceable unit. It's an LRU, line replaceable unit for an aircraft. And this is a bus power control unit. And this was done by our company. And look at the 2 modules that we developed. One was the bus power control unit. The other is the over voltage protection unit. And developed under circumstances which are extremely difficult, extremely challenging. There were complexities with the program in terms of common hardware to support all programs. They had 4 different aircrafts which were named, and on all the 4 aircrafts, the same BPCU had to go by. They also had to use the same common digital signal processing software, 100% of reuse of common electronics initiative that was there, and they also put us a lot of challenges in terms of reducing the weight as well as the cost. And also in terms of the program challenges, not only the complexity, we had a complete level A LRU designed and developed for the first time in Cyient. That's the challenge that we had. It was not that we have done this in the past. And it was a program which was lasting just about 12 months. And it was a complete life cycle. That's the hardware, software, and the mechanical boxes had to be not only designed, that they had to be tested. And this was a successful design that was done. And actually added to this, there was yet another complexity, was all about risk-reward model. We put in $9.5 million of our money into this particular project, and the customer said, only when you deliver the 12th prototype will you get the first installment of payment. And we did deliver, and we took a very holistic approach and successfully delivered this hardware to the customer. What did we make to deliver this particular piece of hardware to the customer? There was continuous development of skills. We had a multidisciplinary program management. We had all the time constantly assessing ourselves in terms of where we are on risk. We set up our own lab facility, and we did the test engineering. So primarily, what was a big message that we got out of this development that we did for our customer was that we still had native capability in this country. No denying this is not large volume, but it's highly complex, low volume jobs could still be delivered in India. So that is one message that I have for all of you, that we still have capability in spite of what are the challenges I talked about earlier. The second one that we discovered in the recent past is that there's also a big opportunity for design-led product development. So there are a number of companies today which are doing design today in India, like my company too. We do extensive amount of design work. But where does the product finally get manufactured? It goes to Israel. It goes to Taiwan. As opposed to that, there is a play at this point of time, if you can, to manage the development work, thereafter get it executed as a product for final supply to the customer. And the customer is very delighted about this strategy for the simple reason that he doesn't need to look for yet another manufacturing vendor to go and say that somebody has to manufacture this for me. And there are always then challenges in manufacturability, manufacturing processes, all that is all gone as far as the customer is concerned. He says, I define product functionality, and then you deliver the final product. So what we decided to do was we went ahead, we saw a company which were designing and doing product development. We thought we could do a lot more of them, and the recent past we went and acquired this company. It's called Rangsons Electronics Private Limited. Some of you may be familiar. And what is this company doing is that it does product integration, box build to the extent of 79%. They have printed circuit board assembly to the extent of another 21%. So therefore, the second lesson that we have is that if people have to embark on this strategy of product-led design, design-led product realization, design-led product realization, there's a big play in India. A third one that I wanted to bring to your attention was about this big story all about the Made in India. Big initiative for Government of India. I'm very optimistic that it will become a reality. And certainly, I think there are a number of initiatives that the Government of India has started taking. There's action happening at this point of time for promoting the manufacturing ecosystem. And some of those highlights are that we modified the MSIPS program. They have done 2 electronics manufacturing clusters. They also are working very intensely on this preferred market access. A few of the products already have them. And they are also looking at a couple of high-tech incubators dedicated for the electronics. They've already been approved. One, I believe, is in Delhi. The other is in Patna. So therefore, this big initiative of Make in India provides a huge opportunity for people who are in the semiconductor and electronic space. The second thing that they're doing in terms of the Make in India initiative is stimulating the sector. They're trying to correct this inverted duty structure. There's a sizable amount of initiatives that are going on in terms of investing on human resource development and also work on streamlining the standards. So 3 strong messages that I have at this point of time. One is that we believe that there are nuggets of gold that they're around in this country. The second one is that design-led manufacturing has a big play. And the third one is Make in India is a big opportunity for all of us. So therefore, what does the government requires to do? Or first I said the government to start with because focusing on the policy part, and we put 4 of these. These were also a part of that group that worked on Make in India initiative of Prime Minister Modi. And the 4th one is that we need to create a vibrant, innovation-led ecosystem. I think there are short-term and long-term initiatives that have been put in play. And for certain, we are seeing that there is a venture capital fund that will get created so that the ecosystem will come by. And the fact every state government today in this country is putting up an incubation center, incubation centers, and so on and so forth, is a reflection that innovation will become a mainstay in this country. We also believe that they are stimulating the sectorial economics. They have got a extended focused product scheme